going on? Welcome back to another episode of us looking at Pokemon Duel here. I'm going to consider this an episode of Duel School because we do have some interesting facts going on for this episode. So, just to cut to the chase, as some of you may already know, Mega Evolution is experiencing a big change, so we'll kind of cut through that real quickly and then get into the meat and bones of the new information about Mega Evolution in this game, because some Pokemon are getting some big buffs right now. So just as many of you may know, right now Mega Evolution, or at least by the 16th of August for those of you watching right now, potentially before the 16th, Mega Evolution plates will no longer be necessary. So if you're if you have Pokemon, say as Blastoise that evolves into Mega Blastoise, you won't need a plate for that anymore. Every Blastoise you have, or it's potentially at least one Blastoise, will be getting one Mega Evolution plate automatically, not counting towards your total in your deck. So that way it won't count towards the 8 that you're allowed to have, or 8 points towards plates in your deck that you're allowed to have. So if you run two Blastoises, that means they will each get their own Mega Plate so long as you have a second Mega Blastoise. That's potential, though it remains to be seen so far. Though I believe that would end up being the case. We'll see in future updates. They have not quite said how that will go so far. But anyway, without further ado, let's get into the new update right now that will be coming. There's a lot of reading to go here, pretty much just reiterating everything I said. However, there is that one little caveat that EX Rayquaza, its plate, Meteoric Teachings plate, since it gives Mega Rayquaza a new attack, it does not count as a Mega Evolution plate, so it will count towards your plate total of adding up to 8, but you can add multiple to your deck if you want to, so clarification on that. Anyway, let's get into it. The buffs for these new Pokemon coming are mainly pertaining to Mega Pokemon and their pre-evolutions as well, just to keep in mind. So we do have UX Mega Venusaur, changed the effect of the Cruel Blossoms Incursion ability. I love that name, Cruel Blossoms Incursion. Changed to Solar Beam 130 to Solar Beam 150, and now we'll get into the changes of Cruel Blossoms Incursion. So it used to give weight 5 to poisoned and noxious Pokemon, which I thought was pretty cool, but they're taking it a whole step further, a big step further really. So it says, we've powered up this effect, so now it excludes those Pokemon from the duel for 7 turns. So any Pokemon that Mega Venusaur happens to pass through will now be excluded for the 7 turns that Mega Venusaur is on the field. After 7 turns pass, those figures return to the bench. So actually, even if Mega Venusaur is knocked out, sent to the bench, or sent to the PC, or even excluded, it still seems that the Mega Excursion ability will still be in effect for those 7 turns. It doesn't say that if Mega Venusaur is knocked out, all of a sudden those turns become negated. It doesn't say that. So for all we know, those 7 turns will still be in effect, of exclusion that is. So that's pretty strong. And then Venusaur, Solar Beam 130 to Solar Beam 150, that's nice, and also changed Vine Whip to Protect and decreased its size. They're doing that so that way Vine Whip isn't as much of a liability anymore, or won't be a liability at all. Instead, it'll gain Protect. Now, since Venusaur is a slower Pokemon in the mainline series, it makes sense that the blue attack they're giving it is Protect, because, Venusaur is a slower Pokemon, it's going to have to get that weight 1. So, bad on your turn, bad if it turns into your opponent's turn after that, because you won't have to deal with the weight. Anyway, so one thing to keep in mind, Mega Venusaur, yes, its Solar Beam is 130 to 150, just like base Venusaur is. However, it will get that plus 10 damage buff once you evolve from Venusaur into Mega Venusaur, just like any other evolution in the game, of course. So then here we go, we'll get into more of it as well. EX Venusaur with its chemical pollen ability that reduces the MP of poison and noxious Pokemon by 1 while it's on the field is essential for poison decks. I agree. To make it easier to maintain the effect of that ability, we replaced the Vine Whip Wide Attack, which was a weakness for sure, with the blue attack Protect, greatly increasing EX Venusaur's resilience. We have also enhanced the damage from Solar Beam, as we just read. Moving on to Charizard here. Mega Charizard X, Mega Charizard Y, changed Bright Flame 50 times to Bright Flame 60 times, though of course, as we know, with the Mega Evolution, it'll actually be 70 times. So 2 spins, 140, 3 spins, 210, and so on and so forth until it just doesn't land Bright Flame anymore. That is crazy. Charizard, I love this buff to Charizard. I was a little shocked by it, but It makes sense. A lot of Pokemon that have MP1 have been moving up to MP2 lately, so it makes sense for Charizard as well. Considering that Charizard isn't exactly the slowest Pokemon in the mainline series, it will have the Speed Booster ability removed though, which is cool. It makes sense since again it's already getting the MP buff anyway. It doesn't really need Speed Booster, or it would make it pretty broken if it did have it still. Anyway, change Dragon Tail 80 to Dragon Tail 100. That's awesome. And then Fire Spin again is 50 times to 60 times. So 120, 180, so on and so forth. While EX Charizard and UX Mega Charizard X and Y are figures with a high usage rate that can deal overwhelming amounts of damage, they could be considered to lack stability somewhat. We decided to make the changes above in anticipation of those times when their chain attacks don't chain. Makes sense, that way they can still deal a little bit of damage anyway. Now, my favorite out of these Gen 1 starters is Blastoise, Mega Blastoise. Always has, probably always will be to a degree, and I like this buff a lot. Both Mega Blastoise and EX Blastoise will have Hydro Pump from 100 to 140, which makes sense because when you're going to Mega Evolve, it's going to become 150 base damage for Mega Blastoise. Not to mention that it's going to get plus 20 on top of that for the Mega Evolution. So what's that, 170? And then plus 10 damage for every water Pokemon you have on the field. So that's going to be, what is that? 180 damage if it's only Mega Blastoise itself on the field as a water type Pokemon. So that's 180 damage right off the bat. Again, this makes sense because as a lot of people have been saying in forums lately, especially on Reddit, 150 base damage is like the new meta damage that you want to be able to reach to be able to combat a lot of Pokemon in the game right now. I feel like ever since the Regis got introduced into the game, multiple banners back, multiple updates back, 150 damage Hammer Arm has been a brutal attack to deal with, and so now Pokemon Company is making sure to be able to do that. Well, Pokemon Company and Heroes, the developer of this game right here. Really, really awesome. So let's go into their explanation of buffing Blastoise. I kind of wish there was a little more to buffing Blastoise, but this is a nice step. I'm glad they didn't just forget about it, and there are a lot of other Pokemon that they didn't forget about in this update, which I appreciate very much so. So, it says Blastoise and Mega Blastoise's lowered effectiveness when confused, definitely. Paralyzed or burned is prominent. Extremely so. And their weakness to the nullification of purple attacks and blue attacks is a drawback. However, they have extremely high innate potential, at least with damage, of course. And with Mega Blastoise's purple attack as well, or I'm sorry, blue attack as well, I should say. We've taken this opportunity to greatly increase the damage from the Hydro Pump wide attack to bring them back into the current metagame. Again, definitely boosting its damage well above 150 as well. And then Mega Swampert and Swampert, I love that they're buffing these guys, because again, another set of water Pokemon that I really like a lot. I have a thing for water ground Pokemon, I don't know what it is. Not the biggest Gastrodon fan, even though Gastrodon is pretty cool from Gen 3, but I mean Swampert, you have Gen 2 with Quagsire and Wooper obviously, and then Swampert, Mega Swampert, etc. So on and so forth. We do have Mega Swampert changed Ice Punch 70 to Ice Punch 100. That's great, making it 110 with the evolution, of course. And then Swampert Hammer Arm 110 to Hammer Arm 140. So not quite that 150 range, but definitely close enough to where you can be able to take down other combatants. Though again, if you do give it that new water plate that came out with this recent banner, then you will be able to buff it plus 20 to get Hammer Arm to 160. So something to keep in mind as well. You may or may not want to pull from this banner if you want to be able to buff Swampert's damage even higher. So keep that in mind, guys. It is unfortunate though that Mega Swampert's other white attack, it might be Hammer Arm as well if I'm not mistaken. Whatever it is, it's very strong. I think it hits for like 140, 150. It's too bad that didn't get buffed, but at least both Pokemon have their own white attacks buffed as well. And it goes into that as well also. So Swampert and Mega Swampert have not gotten much attention up until now. Yeah, totally. But they are figures that quietly have overwhelming strength. I agree, especially with Mega Swampert being able to pass through other Pokemon. It's actually really, really cool. We decided to raise the damage dealt by one of their white attacks each. Again, makes sense. Now, here comes Gallade. Mega Gallade changed Night/110 to Night/140, but of course it becomes that ideal 150 with a Mega Evolution, and changed Psychic Blade 90 to Psychic Blade 110, so it's not that much of a liability if you happen to land Psychic Blade. Also, EX Gallade changed the effect of the Psychic Sensor ability, we'll get into that in a moment, and changed Night/110 to Night/140 as well, and then Psychic Blade 70 to Psychic Blade 90. Makes sense because it is the pre-evolution. It probably shouldn't be as strong as the Mega Evolution, but it's even more incentive to Mega Evolve, of course, especially since you get the plate for free just by running Gallade in your deck. But of course, you do have to have Mega Gallade as a figure in your collection, of course. So, EX Gallade's Psychic Sensor ability nullifies the in-battle effects of its battle opponent's abilities if they are Psychic-type Pokemon. For example, and this is a big example, against an opposing EX Lunala, the damage reduction from the Shadow Shield ability is nullified, so you can hit Lunala as hard as you want. But you still have to watch out for attacks like Will-O-Wisp and especially Moongeist Beam, though I do believe Gallade does have a 2-star purple attack anyway, which could nullify Moongeist Beam if it happens to land purple to purple, for that matter. Anyway, let's move on. Now the limitation on the target to Psychic-type Pokemon has been removed. Be sure to consider how to most effectively use new EX Gallade. We have also greatly enhanced the amount of damage that both Gallade and Mega Gallade can deal. Really cool. And another random Pokemon I did not see getting a buff anytime soon is Kirlia, but I'm glad it did because it's allowing evolution to happen even more so, which will actually get Night/Gallade to 150 with the evolution from Kirlia to Gallade. Something to definitely consider. I love that they thought about this. So, Rare Kirlia increased the size of Psycho Switch, which is purple attack, and decreased the size of Moonblast and the size of Super Psy, which are pretty cool. The Psycho Switch purple attack is an essential attack that can move the battle opponent to the bench, making it possible to evolve Rare Kirlia into EX Gallade or EX Gardevoir. We decided to decrease the size of the 2 white attacks and increase the size of the Psycho Switch attack. I think this makes sense. Purple attacks are way easier to evolve into, well, depending on the situation. I believe Psycho Switch is a 2-star purple attack, so if you're not evolving from Ralts to Kirlia, you still have a decent chance to be able to evolve from Kirlia, of course, once again, into Gardevoir or Gallade. Something to definitely consider. I think Kirlia is getting buffed, and it deserved it very much so. Anyway, moving on, we have Mega Sableye getting a buff. Not Sableye itself, but Mega Sableye, which is great anyway. It says change the effect of the Darkness Crystal ability, and again, we'll get into that. I like what it does. It should have done this all along, but at least now we're getting it. And then it says change Shadow Sneak 80 damage to Shadow Sneak base 90 damage, but again we know that'll go up to 100 with the evolution. And then change Shadow Beam 90 to 110, but 120 with the ability, though again Mega Sableye isn't really meant for its white attacks. It does have great white attacks, don't get me, or are they gold for that matter? I forget exactly how it works with Mega Sableye. They must be gold attacks, actually. Anyway, we've decided to grant UX Mega Sableye the same capability to move through other Pokemon that other Ghost-type Pokemon have. That makes perfect sense. It should have had it all along. At least now we're getting that. But, gosh darn it, is Mega Sableye potentially hard to take down. This change to the effect of Darkness Crystal, which also prevents Mega Sableye from being knocked out by battle damage, makes it easier to utilize this ability offensively as well as defensively. It makes sense because now you can kind of maneuver Mega Sableye however you want. If you want it to pass through your opponent's Pokemon to get closer to their goal point or their entry points, now you have even more chances to do so, or chances to surround for that matter. The possibilities are pretty endless. So yes, we do have that. We have also increased the damage that Mega Sableye's gold attack and white attack deal. So yes, it does have gold and white. Anyway, here we go, some big buffs coming here, some scary buffs. We do have Mewtwo changed Psycho Cut 70 plus to Psycho Cut 150 plus. So I think that means it'll deal, what, 150 damage if it lands Psycho Cut twice in a row? Something to consider, because I think for a while it was only landing like 120 max damage, so for it to be able to do 150 damage is awesome. It's now reaching that new tier of 150 damage. by increasing the strength of EX Mewtwo both before it Mega Evolves and after Mega Evolution ends. We made it easier to utilize UX Mega Mewtwo X and Mega Mewtwo Y. Totally agreed. And then here we go, Beedrill. Increase the size of Toxic, decrease the size of Miss. Now, I kind of wish they would just do I believe the white attack it has is Twin Needle. I wish they would just have buffed the size of that, because that's probably the attack you really want to land more. But hey, a decrease in Miss is definitely what Beedrill needs. I'll take an increase in any attack size, so long as Miss can be decreased overall, because that thing has a lot of Miss. It doesn't say how much it'll be decreased by, but I'm hoping it'll be something significant, because it really needs it. Because once Mega Beedrill is gone and you're stuck with Beedrill again, you're kind of at a disadvantage. Anyway, here we go. We decided to buff Common Beedrill to increase the viability of UX Mega Beedrill as well as Poison Dex. And then blah blah blah, we apologize for any inconvenience this may cause. I don't really see any inconvenience at all, other than the fact that now we got to be able to pull a lot of Mega Pokemon to be able to support the base level, EX level Pokemon that these Pokemon are evolving into. Or in Beedrill's case, it's only a common, which is great because you can run 3 Beedrill. The only problem is you need to be able to have 3 Mega Beedrill for them to evolve into. That is the one area where Mega Evolution is kind of being hurt. Yes, it's nice that your plate count won't be affected by Mega Evolution plates anymore, but you can't run multiple copies of them anymore. And that's where something like Beedrill was more easily utilized, because Beedrill's only a common. It's easy to get Beedrill pulled, and if you don't pull it, it's very cheap to use it with material exchange to get multiple Beedrill. If you really wanted to run that route, it's probably not the best choice, but now since Beedrill's miss size is being decreased by however much, that will be seen and soon, in just like a day or two, Beedrill may become more part of the meta now. I don't know for sure. It's still not the best, but Mega Beedrill is a beast, being able to buff poison and bug type Pokemon. So that about does it for this update, guys. But before we leave, we do have some boosters to open real quick, some time boosters. Might as well get into it, have some fun here. That's something that I love to do with you guys on this channel. But let me know what you guys think of these buffs. Which Pokemon are you going to run for sure now that they're getting buffed? Are there some Pokemon that you wish aren't getting buffed? Really, let me know what you guys think, because this is going to be a major change to the game, especially because, again, you can only get 1 free Mega Evolution plate per Pokemon that you have. So if you have 1 Blastoise, you're going to only get 1 free Mega Evolution plate for that. You're only going to get 1 Blastoise a night, unless you potentially run multiple copies, and if you have multiple Mega Blastoise in your collection, then it may give you 1 free plate per Blastoise, of course. Again, that has not been clarified yet, I do not believe. If it has, let me know in the comments, because I really want to know. Otherwise, we're just going to have to see how things roll, and we're going to see very soon. We're going to get a rare. Oh, Sylveon, one of my favorite evolutions of all time. Nice. Rattata, Weedle, 2 commons. Oh, and an EX Rare Metal. Could definitely use that, because, again, since I saw this buff happening, I made sure to level up my Blastoise to level 5. I had to use a couple Rare Metal to do so, so I'm glad to get one back for free, seemingly. So that's great. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you guys think right now. I look forward to having a conversation in the comments. Let's get into it. Let's just be polite, though. No need to get hostile or volatile. No need to diss other people's opinions, because, again, all this is opinion. But I want to know what you guys think. Have a great one. I'll talk to y'all later.